Welcome to the See, Joy, and Expand podcast. My name is Christian Joy Panachos, and I am an embodiment life coach and quantum hypnotist. And come join me as we explore what it means to be a messy, raw, imperfect, and authentic human being through experiences of the body. We'll be journeying deep into our subconscious worlds and see what makes our souls tick, and coming back to our conscious minds with maybe a little bit more courage, a little bit more compassion for ourselves, and just daring to dream again. I hope that each episode will guide you to an aha moment, intuitive hit, or gut yes, so we can fearlessly live our lives again. Hello, welcome everyone. This is Christian, and welcome to the See, Joy, and Expand podcast. This is episode 2. And this will be the first episode where I am sharing a processing session of one of my hypnosis clients. So I'm very excited. I love quantum hypnosis. It's so much fun. It's often surprising. I never know what's going to happen. And this is one of those sessions that unfolded like that. Like I'm like very surprised how this one just came out. And honestly, they're all surprising and exciting and new and different, and I can't wait for future episodes. I have a few people lined up for you guys, so I hope you enjoy. Do have a few pre-interview notes to share with you. I did have to edit a lot of this episode. The audio quality, it came out really bad. It was pretty shitty. I'm still learning this equipment. I think I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I edited a lot of really loud sounds out. So if it sounds choppy, that's why. A lot of the loud sounds that I edited out, it was associated with lots of giggles. I come from a family that laughs a lot, giggles a lot. And then you put two of us together in one room, me and my cousin who did the hypnosis, and the giggles are like exponential. There's too much of it. I feel like half the interview was giggles. So hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. This is who we are. I did want to share one thing about the conversation, and we did have some we did talk about Kate Middleton in the conversation, and part of me was I kind of entertained the thought, like, should I question it? Should I edit this part out? And in the energy and the intention and the vibe of this podcast, which is real, authentic, mostly unedited. I edit it for timing's sake, really. Like I keep a lot of stuff in there that I think most people would remove. And else this podcast would be really, 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 really long. And this episode was recorded 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about I don't know, there's like this whole Kate Middleton fiasco. And now that we're post Kate Middleton coming out with the behind the scenes story publicly, what was going on with their family, I just wanted to say that I feel a lot of empathy and remorse for the situation, the experience they're having. That's really tough stuff. And I didn't want to remove it because I'm very in being in our human honesty and how we show up. And that was a real conversation I had with my cousin 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we weren't having it we weren't making fun of her. This is before the actual the Kate Middleton came out publicly with what was going on with her. And I I don't know, it felt really off to edit history, edit the truth, and I just want to show up as I am, and this is how I feel now knowing the truth that she shared publicly. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you don't even care, if you want to know about it, I'm not gonna share it here, but you can Google it. It's everywhere. And I just hope that makes sense. I've been entertaining this phrase that I heard from Greg Stoker's content. He's a content creator on the Middle East and all of the stuff that's going on over there right now. And he has this episode called Colonial Outcast, and he had a guest on it. And I wish I had the name of the guest, but he shared this phrase, and I've been playing with it. It's very interesting to me. And he said, "This was honestly ignorant. Honest ignorance. Honestly ignorant." And it's one of those phrases where I'm just like, wow, like this is something to entertain, something to be curious about. Because I know when you have them separate, the word honesty actually feels really nice. It feels nice for me. I don't know. Not everybody has the same relationship with the word honesty. Like some people don't feel safe to be honest. I love the word honesty. I feel like there's a lot of freedom in truth. And then there's the word ignorant or ignorance. And that is a very triggering word for many people. And I've been, by that word by itself, I've been playing with a lot in myself. Like, what comes up for me when I say ignorant, when I call myself ignorant, when I try that word on for size? And it doesn't feel good, but if I'm honest with myself, I I and get real, like in all reality, like I think I like everybody's ignorant. Not everybody can know everything about everything. And that's the honest truth. And when you put it together, honest ignorance, and I try it on for size and see how it feels like it for me in my insides, I find that I feel a little bit more safe to be honest and truthful about my imperfections, about what I don't know, about showing up or giving myself permission to show up as the unpolished version of myself, feeling safe to show up as human as I am, because we all are all human and perfect doesn't exist. So, in the energy of that word, I feel remorse, sadness, and not that I think that Kate Middleton will ever hear my words, but I hope that if she ever did, if someone like her ever did, in this a similar situation of me having a conversation, um, that they don't, that what I did not cause harm. And if it did, that I'm deeply apologetic. And like I said, I don't think Kate Middleton's going to hear this. But this is how I feel, and I just wanted to share that out loud. And that being said, I'm going to share formatting for all these episodes, the podcasts, and the Substack, and then we'll move on. So, how this will all be organized is I will be putting out an interview slash processing session on the podcast. These will be the episodes, and they will have an accompanying Substack article. I don't even know what they're newsletter. I don't even really know what to call them. I use a lot of words for them. Um, it'll have an accompanying Substack, and at the bottom of that Substack, you will find the actual hypnosis session that my client went through. And these hypnosis sessions will be behind a paywall. And I was very intentional about this decision. Like I gave it some thought and some time about how I want to do this because there was a series of events that made me feel like it didn't feel right to just share my client's hypnosis session as an episode for the public to hear. Because originally I had wanted to make their hypnosis session the episode. And for me personally, having gone through hypnosis myself multiple times by now, and then facilitating from quite a number of people now, I have deep reverence and deep respect for what it takes to be vulnerable in hypnosis and bearing your subconscious mind, and let alone, like, to me, my clients bearing their hip subconscious states to me, let alone just sharing it for anybody on the internet to hear. Like, I feel like that's just, I personally do not feel good about that. And to each their own, whatever they want to, however they want to share their chosen modality. But this is what I want to do for myself that feels good to me and my community, my clients. So the actual hypnosis sessions will be behind a paywall, and you will have to subscribe to Substack to have access to those sessions. And I feel like it also adds like this layer of protection for these subconscious states for my clients, because it'll cause someone to stop and think about, do I really want to even listen and engage and take in the energy of the session? Because I feel like the interviews themselves, you glean a lot of wisdom from those. Whatever needed to be taken away from the session comes through the conversation and interview. So you don't even need to, I feel like you don't need to listen to the actual hypnosis session, although the experience feels really nice. I don't, if you want to get to the meat of the answers and the learning there, you will hear it in the conversation, in the interview, in the processing with the client. And then everybody's different. They're going to get something else that we wouldn't have gotten through the both of us. So that is the free option to subscribing to Substack with me. I hope that cleared a lot. I hope that made sense. I do reiterate it in my Substack, and like, this is how we're doing it. This is how I'm formatting it. And I'll do my due diligence to keep updating you guys whenever I do make changes. Yeah, I'm excited. Enjoy this episode. This is my cousin Merrijoy Vicente in the Emotional Towns episode. I have Merrijoy Vicente here. She's my cousin, and I am so happy to share her with you all because she's like one of my clients who was willing to go under in hypnosis. But you know, when you read a book and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And you're like, what the fuck? This is the ending? I don't know. Where do you want to start with it? So, okay, so these episodes are going to be live processing sessions for my clients, like their post-hypnosis processing sessions. So I give each one of my clients space to talk about their experience and process what they even fucking experience, which is like, what the fuck did I even experience usually? I have Mary Joy on, and I usually I encourage a re-listen to the hypnosis episode, but not everybody opts for that option because everybody goes through the the motions of, oh, my voice.
Mhm.
Oh, like, what am I even talking about? Did that happen? Is this even real? Like, so was it? And that was, and Mary J was just sharing that with me before I hit record. So, what do you remember of your episode?
I remember everything.
Okay,
I
awesome.
remember
Yes,
everything. So I didn't
because
feel too bad about like saying no thank you to listening to the whole thing because it literally was a journey.
mhm.
So like literally was a journey.
The best
So
journey.
I I remember it quite vividly, I feel like. Like
Really? That's
maybe you
awesome.
can correct me if I'm wrong or help me remember if I actually don't remember it
Well,
to it,
we'll
but
see
I
what
do.
happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see what comes up for you in this processing session.
It felt like I was like Don Quixote or something, like on
Yeah,
this.
that's Don Quixote. Is he like a
Isn't he traveling? Or am I tripping?
is
Who
he
am I
a
thinking?
explorer?
I feel like I don't want to like bullshit on your like, am I just making shit up?
No, I still have
Don
well, you
Quixote?
didn't say you didn't express that you felt like Don Quixote
No, but now
during.
that like thinking about it, yeah, it just felt like I was on a journey of some sort. I guess I could relate to any kind of person, main character on a journey. Doesn't
I
need to
mean,
be
you
done.
you were the main character on your journey. Nobody was there.
Nobody was there. What was that about?
I don't know.
He's
That's
like, I mean, is it? Yeah, I don't know. That was very
maybe
strange.
maybe that will be enlightened as we talk. Like, why did you have to? When Merrijoy was going through her adventure, like everywhere she went in each new scene, in the like it was the same thing. It was the same continuous scene. We didn't have to go to new scenes in her hypnosis. Like usually, okay, so usually, let me give a little background on what a hypnosis looks like. I drop a person in their subconscious into the place they're meant to see. And then if they feel complete in this space, say they were at a beach and they were done exploring or whatever they needed to experience, then I have them move on to the next scene. This was a 2 hour continuous scene of an adventure, and she
Yeah,
was Don Quixote throughout the whole.
no
Oh,
sidekick.
and by the way, I will have the recording attached to a Substack for this episode. So if you want to know the details of what happened in there, you will have that. But I feel like the conversation here is enough for people to get what is meant to be got from
Yeah,
that experience. But we'll find out.
yeah.
We'll find out.
It'll-
I'm experimenting with all this. Where do you want to start?
I mean, you guide me along the way of what how we're gonna break this down or deep.
We just talk about it. We just talk about what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it started in a very colorful space. It was just a very empty area. It was like nice and peaceful, lots of like hilly, like, you know what it reminded me of?
What?
You're gonna laugh, but I think it reminded me of, like your computer screen, like a fucking Windows computer screen. And some background is as I do just like work on a computer all fucking day. So
Dude, I have to show you the computer screen because I just updated my computer screen and it's like rolling hills and vineyards and shit.
we're like Microsoft, like Windows wallpaper. I don't know. It's something similar to that, but it's very green and hilly, and the sky was blue. It was just nice and bright and very peaceful. And then, I just like went on and continued to walk through and see what was like beyond the hills, which was like a little town. And then the town was very, I want to say it wasn't as colorful, but it still felt very peaceful to me. There was nobody around and like it was very open like cobble street-y kind of like walkways. It felt like a some kind of European city, I don't know. But nobody was there. All like
I was asking you if it looks like Portugal because I remember you had been there before you
yeah,
vacationed in Portugal.
I think the next area reminded me of Portugal or something like that. I can't remember. I know, I think it was because this one felt very is very bright and I want to say like white. It's just more like a kind of like like Greece.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Clean?
clean. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, nobody was there. That's why it's not dirty. There's no fucking make mess or anything like that. But like it felt like people were like this was a populated area because there was like fucking fresh bread and like a bakery and like who's eating bread? I don't know. We'll never
I'm
know.
mad that you never ate the bread.
I know I should have like went in and like touched
Tried it.
things, but
Yeah.
it's not. I wanted to keep continuing on. I remember as I was still continuing on through the little town, it brought me out to like a river or like some kind of watery area. And I think this is what did remind me of Portugal because it thinking about it, it did remind me of Porto a little bit. There was like a split, like one big river or one big, body of water that split like two different sides of the city. But there's like a bridge that would take you to the other side, but the other side was completely like is very red. And I think that is what reminded me of Portugal. But it was funny because I feel like the bridge didn't have any kind of fucking structure. Maybe
I was
let's
gonna
see,
say
it could collapse.
the
But we'll try it out.
your inner okay, so we're in her subconscious and she's saying how she feels out loud during this whole thing and I was like, fuck, this is Miss Mary Joy's inner dialogue is in her everyday life.
Yeah.
And when she was on this bridge, she was just like, I don't know about this bridge. I don't think this can hold me, but I
Like
guess we'll
one
try it
person,
out.
one person is like it's gonna collapse at any like given moment.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
did stop to look at the water. I think.
yes, yes, you did stop and got curious about the water. Actually, let's pause for a second and like, what was even your intention for this hypnosis to begin with? Do you remember?
Oh, wasn't it like why are my emotions like I have very like highs and lows when it comes to my emotions?
Yeah. So before we even have the hypnosis session, we go through a consultation process where we develop like what does Mary Jo even want to fucking know in this? And she didn't know what she wanted to
No.
know, but we had a conversation on it. And we come up with an intention, a set of questions, and I end up interviewing a part of her that labeled the higher self because this version of ourselves we're always striving for the betterment of ourselves. The intention is like kind of the energy of the whole like experience. And so her intention that we formulated together was to understand why I really have emotional highs and lows. So it was just really interesting how this like storybook was unfolding and we're like we're in a nice chill place, this
Yeah.
first town. It's really clean, nobody's there though. And then everything looks great. Oh, and I remember you describing how you felt there. How did you feel there?
In the first town, or just
Mhm.
like
The
at,
first town.
oh, I felt very calm.
And then
Yeah.
she goes on the bridge.
And I go on bridge. I take a second to like look at the water and the split between the two parts of the town. To one, if I'm looking out at the water, it's like the one side is the very clean, just like white town. There's just not really much going on, but it was nice and peaceful and calm. Then you got the left where it's like very orangey, kind of red. This like it did remind me of Portugal. But I love Portugal, so I don't even know why I'm like associating it with like a negative kind of feeling. But anyways, when I got to that side of the town, I walked through and then
To the new town.
to the new town and everything was very closed. It wasn't as open as, the previous town. And it was just this really long road. Not even a road is just like a walking space of just you're just looking at buildings. There's just little buildings on each side of you, and you're just walking down this like wide aisle of, you know, pavement, and you're just going up, and it just felt fucking endless. It was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this place is making me so uncomfortable and so anxious. And it's like, I felt stuck. And then it just felt like it was taking a million years to get out of this goddamn town. And it was one of those things where it was like, I could look back and then maybe I'll go back to that town where it was like nice and peaceful and calm, or I just keep going. A part of me was like, ugh, and I gotta go all the way back. This place already sucks and I gotta go all the way.
All the way through
Then I
it.
gotta go all the way fucking back to that bridge too. Like I'm already if I just keep going, then we'll get out of here. But even when I decided to keep, to power through and then try to see what was after this because this place fucking blows. Like I can't get out of this place.
The way
I
you
felt,
felt like in your
yeah.
voice when you were describing that place, I was like, wow, this place sounds really uncomfortable. Like you really felt the how.
And there was like nothing there. There was just something about it that did not make me feel nice. And it took forever. This was like the longest in the world. Like, what is happening?
The road in the town or the road leading out?
Or like leading, like get through the town to like, if I just continued to see what was next, it just took forever. Like, like, is this done? Like, please just get out of here. And I couldn't decide for a while, I guess. It was just like, do I go back? Do I keep going? I don't know.
I love the trail of indecision.
Yeah, it was
It
very,
was it was really interesting that you had an option. Like it sounded like going
yeah.
back was an option.
Hmm.
Two or three. So like one, go back to the place that you know is nice.
Yeah.
Two, move forward. Three, stay, which is definitely not
No,
your
a
answer.
hot mess. No, no, that would be awful. So, yeah, I just decided to power through and just continue on. But it really did feel like it took a million years to get out of this town. And then finally, it was like it felt like a dead end, but it was like train tracks, but on the other side of, and then I was like, dude, like where is everybody? Like, did they just take the train out of this town or just like leave? Like there was nobody there, but someone's operating these trains. Has to. Like what? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But beyond the train tracks, there was like woods. There were like it was like a wooded area. So either it was there was nobody there, so I can't like hop on this fucking
Can
train.
I like interrupt you for a sec? I just wanna, okay. This is like something that I've been doing, like I started doing as of yesterday.
Mhm.
And one of my other clients, she had a really weird and windy like hypnosis where she went from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene. She like went to 20 different scenes, all random stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't get it, but I trust that whatever's coming out of her subconscious, something that would resonate and they would get. So you know what she did? She put in Chat GPT, what is the meaning or spiritual meaning behind all these things? And there was like weird ass things like a wooden watch butterfly thing. And I was like, you couldn't Google something like that. She threw it
Yeah.
in Chat GPT, and what came out, the definitions of all these things, she's like, this makes sense for everything I asked in
Oh,
my for my intentions and questions. And I was like, mind blown. I was like, what the fuck? So I want to ask ChatGPT.
sure.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. When you dream that nobody else is present except for yourself, several interpretations are possible, and they have a whole list. Self-reflection and inner explorations, dreams where you are alone may reflect a desire for solitude or a need to introspect. It could be your mind's way of processing your thoughts, emotions, and experiences in a private, introspective manner. Independence and autonomy. Dreaming of being alone may symbolize a sense of independence and self sufficiency. It could suggest that you are comfortable being alone and capable of relying on yourself without needing others for support or validation. Oh man. Mary J's waving her finger. She's like, uh huh. And then, okay, there's four more. Isolation or loneliness. Alternatively, dreaming of being alone might reflect feelings of isolation, loneliness, or alienation in waking life. It could indicate a need for connection with others or a desire to overcome feelings of loneliness or isolation. Does that resonate with you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have like massive seasonal depression.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Dang.
sometimes,
Sometimes it's a thing.
Yeah.
Focus on self-development. Being alone in a dream may signify a period of self-growth and self-discovery. You definitely discovered some stuff about yourself. It could represent a time of personal development, introspection, self-improvement, and without external distractions or influences. This feels like your life.
Yeah.
Freedom, freedom and liberation. Dreaming of being alone may also symbolize a sense of freedom and liberation for external constraints or responsibilities. It could suggest a desire for independence and autonomy in various aspects of your life. And then it says symbolic representation. Sometimes dreams use symbolism to convey deeper meanings. Being alone in a dream might symbolize a particular aspect of yourself, such as your inner child, your subconscious mind, your higher self, seeking attention or guidance. I mean, how did that all
That's
land?
all. That's all like everything. I feel all of those things.
Yeah, that
Like it
actually,
actually like didn't surprise me that there was like nobody in there because sometimes I just want to be by myself.
yeah. Yeah, I
I'm
felt
totally
like you were
irritated.
like, this is your perfect environment right now. Because, okay, a lot of Mary Joy's questions was like, why do I have such challenges with like other people in my life? Like, I have causes for stress in her life, and it was like very present and real for her in that moment we were developing her questions. So I was like, oh, we're going there first, always, whatever felt most strongly.
Yeah.
Okay, where did we leave off? We were at the train tracks. We
Yeah, the
finally
train
got out of
track.
that stupid
And we
town.
finally got to the end of the town, the edge of the terrible town. Um, and I did not decide to, you know, so there were like two things I could do. Either I can walk alongside of the train tracks, but then it just feels like I might just be stuck there. Like didn't feel like it was anything was gonna happen doing that. It just be stuck in this shitty town, just like at the edge, just can't leave.
I remember
Cross.
this part, and I asked you, where do you feel like your heart wants to go?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I noticed like a lot of what you were going in your inner dialogue definitely was coming from your mind, like a lot of
Yes.
anxious thoughts coming from your brain. And I was just like,
Yeah.
what's happening in here? I was like, I'm pointing in my the heart space. I was like, what's happening in there? Where does this want to take you? And then what did you say?
I want to keep going forward. Yeah, I wanted to go through the woods.
The scary forest. You're like,
Hey,
that forest looks scary.
it did look scary. It was very felt like I was in like Twilight or something.
But
Um,
nobody's around.
no one's around, so it's all good. There's no one's gonna hunt
No
me. I mean,
vampires.
who knows? So yeah, I went through the woods and it popped me out of like a actual like road. You know, a road that you take when you be driving up not really like mountainous like area, but it was just like, it just felt like you would be driving upward. And then you're just surrounded by trees. It's just like you're, driving through the woods or some kind of a lookout or something.
I thought it was interesting that like you look at the forest for face value and you think it's a
Mhm.
deep, scary forest.
Yeah.
But right when you went through, you're like, oh, there's a fucking road right here.
Yeah, great. Thank God. So
And
it
your
was,
heart led you there.
yeah. And it was, I think it was one of those things where it was like either I could go left or I could go right. And if it was like going left, I know it would be going down. And then that would obviously take me somewhere. But then, if I'm going right, I would have to, hike a little bit because it was going upward. But I did decide to go upward, to go higher up. I still don't really know why. I mean, that seems like the harder decision. Like, especially like you've been on this traumatic journey and then now you're like,
Traumatic.
go higher up.
Do you
And
remember if it felt hard walking up this incline?
no, it didn't. I think it was like one of those things where it didn't feel like walking through that one town felt more exhausting than walking upward on this road.
Because in the first town there was an incline too, and you felt like it was effortless in that
Oh,
place.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. Well, I like that town, I guess. Yeah, I was like,
Can we just go to towns
so
with
yeah,
effortless incline?
yeah, you don't have to like do anything really, like exert zero energy. Um, so, so yeah, I walked up. I just kept walking up. Yeah, it did feel effortless. I remember that. And then I did like find a lookout. Like if I looked over, obviously, like I could see like there's another town. like another town down there.
I remember it was like a bunch of other towns,
Yeah,
like a bunch of towns next to you. Like you
yeah.
could
You just it's
see.
kind of like a yeah, you just see like I don't know, it wasn't like houses. I mean, it was just like buildings. Yeah, it just looked like a cool town. But then
This
I
part
kind
made
of
me
just like
laugh.
what
You
it
were
what
like, do you remember what happened? Like what you said? You were like, oh no, I know what this is.
what did I say?
You were like, oh man, I can see all the towns like from a broader, wider view, and
Uh,
that each town was your emotions.
oh
Do
shit.
you remember that?
Yeah, I do. It's like,
You're like, holy
oh
shit. Like,
yeah.
you were looking at the bigger picture of your emotions, and when you look at it at a wider perspective, you could see how you are in each emotion.
Oh yeah. And then I just like stopped to just like take it in like
Yeah, you were just
more
you
that's
were in a
going
moment of
to
reflection. That was
yeah,
like a symbolic picture of you're reflecting over your experiences,
yeah.
experiences being the towns of emotions.
Pounds, yes. And then that means like when I go down there, I'm gonna feel something. But
But
right now,
you go
just
down there with
yeah,
insight too.
exactly.
Like you know this about yourself. This is how I am when I'm in this town of emotion and this town of emotion. I was like, this is fucking cool.
Mhm. That's right. Yeah. But
But
I
you
did it.
said you felt peace.
Yes. Yeah. Because now it was like, okay, well, I know what I'm going to expect when not necessarily knowing what like emotion I will feel when I go down to that town eventually. But it was like, I know that I do expect to feel something. And it was like, yeah, okay, now I know. It's gonna sit here and chill for a bit.
I need a break from these
Yeah, I need a
emotions.
break. Just relax for a second. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's
That,
cool.
that was so
Yeah.
cool.
It was like
You said resting from all the stress.
yeah.
You were in a rush. You have all the time in the world and you had all the options. You really need to re-listen to what you said.
I just that. Oh my
You were
God.
just taking a
Yeah.
moment and says you said taking it in. I was just like,
Yeah.
wow.
And I know I
But
didn't continue on from there. I just like stopped, right?
I think from there we went to interview your higher self and ask
That
them all the questions. And this part I didn't write notes on.
was a hot mess. I feel like I couldn't like really like connect.
Well, did you not? I don't remember.
I couldn't
Um,
like answer any of the questions. Like I feel like I couldn't really, or my higher self like couldn't really connect. I feel like.
I feel like some of them were answered. I just can't remember which ones. But so for the audience, usually the first time, first two, three, it depends on how skilled you are, I want to say, because some people drop in and connect with their higher selves right away and easily. Like for me personally, it took me 3 tries to actually let my higher self come through and just say whatever she wanted to say about
Yeah.
whatever we were talking about. So like the first time, you're not gonna, sometimes you just don't. It just doesn't
Yeah.
happen. And that's okay. That's normal. It's like building skills.
Okay.
So so don't
Do you exist?
like I did it wrong. I don't have a higher self. There's nothing higher than me. Between our session and now, like, has anything like showed up in your life? Like, have you noticed anything about your world ever since then, or
Mm,
no pressure?
I don't know. I don't know. My brain is so scattered. So if something did happen, I probably like it blipped.
I don't have room for that memory right now.
Yeah, like my brain is like figuring out what it wants to keep and what it doesn't want to keep. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should have thought about that.
It's okay. Maybe, maybe there's a value for you to schedule times of reflection.
Yeah, like at the lookout, you
Yeah, have a
know?
lookout moment in your life, like
Yeah.
have an hour lookout moment or 30 minutes out of your week here or there, 15 minutes. It doesn't
Yeah.
take that long to reflect, 15 minutes. Interest you to add into your life.
Yeah. I need to do that actually. It would probably
I
be
mean,
a
not
good one.
even a need, but like, does that feel like a good move for you to do next?
Yes.
You're like,
Yes.
because I need this. You're like, I'm
100%.
not gonna even question it. I need to do this, you
No.
know?
Yes.
Not
exactly.
out of pressure or anything. I was just like
No
wondering.
pressure, actually reflect on myself instead of looking for Kate Middleton, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So priorities, I guess.
If you guys don't know, in our abreast of I don't even know what to call this, gossip or news. I don't even know what people call this
Never
stuff
know.
anymore.
Who knows?
We were we were been talking about Kate Middleton, and at the time of this recording, like nobody knows where she is, like what happened to her, and everything that's coming out is from news media outlets, pictures of the royal family and stuff like that. So we've been just chatting about that behind the scenes if you're wondering why we're talking about Kate Middleton. But and we connect over the crown and stuff like that. So it's like a big fun conversation about the royal family. But
Funny to like revisit this when we do find her.
and see
Like,
what we
we
said.
really didn't know where she was. And then it'll come out that she's just chilling.
Maybe she's doing a hypnosis, a very long
Yeah.
one.
Yes. She's been connecting with her higher self. And she's like, no, you're not gonna be the queen.
Camilla
Camilla,
ain't it.
he ain't it. She said, I ain't it either. Gotta go.
Oh man. Damn.
She's gone
I
through the
did.
towns.
She got through the towns and
She's
she's on the
going through the
overlook.
towns.
She's
She's on the
reflecting
overlook.
over her life and how she's gonna take over.
And she literally, there's nobody around her. That's why nobody can find her.
Legit.
That's it.
Nobody exists
No one
except for
exists.
her and
Information.
her monarchy.
Yes, yeah.
Oh man. See, we couldn't live in England. We would go to jail or some shit.
Yeah, seriously. They'd find me.
They'd find you and like, how dare you say these things against the crown?
They'll notice.
I did want to ask you what drew you to hypnosis to begin with, because the reason why I approached Merrijoy if she to see if she wanted to try this out with me is because she had already been introduced to to this modality like a long time ago. I was just like wondering if you wanted to share that story before we end.
Did I give you like a specific story?
No,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
I'm really interested in some kind of like self-reflection and just like digging deep into like, my emotions and why I feel the way I feel sometimes and why I overthink a lot of things. And it's always been interesting to me that there are ways to kind of dig deep into that. And for me, it's always been hard to, do it myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Meditate, and then I'll meditate for like one day and then forget about it the rest of the week, and then I never do it again, or I just like fall asleep because it's just hard for me to do it. But I've always been interested. I've told Christian many times that I want to like do ayahuasca just so like I could go
Oh my God.
crazy or do some like mushrooms in the desert or something,
I
because
would
I
love to do
think
that.
all of that stuff is so fascinating to me because your brain chemistry, all of that stuff is so fascinating to me.
I love that you even brought that up because the hypnotic state, you don't even need ayahuasca or psilocybin.
Yeah.
Even I wouldn't suggest ayahuasca for it. I have facilitated hypnosis with people who have smoked weed or done psilocybin, and that was a
Mhm.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like the visuals are just a lot more vivid and the experience is a lot more felt. But when you go into hypnosis, you're going to the same place.
Yeah.
So I thought that I love that you even brought that up.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do shrooms for the longest time because I want to experience what that's like, where it's your brain's not, because I overthink a lot of things and my brain is always facilitating my life, and it's not always healthy because you get stuck in like this weird space, and then you're just making up dialogues in your head basically. So it's, hey, there's a way to dig deep into that, but like actually get cut through the bullshit and
Get to
see what's
that,
really going on.
yeah, get to that self-awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it's
So yeah,
cool that
thank you.
say it again, sorry.
No, it's always just been really cool to me, like all this stuff.
Yeah. I remember you talking about the first way, like how you were introduced to this was your neighbor.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, he's very spiritual dude, And I think he was like trying it out for a bit. But I do remember he said like he had a client that really like took the energy out of him. And he's like done it
Oh.
again since then.
Is that what happened? Because I was wondering why it never happened with
Yeah.
him. And it had to happen with me instead.
But a lot of the times, like sometimes, like I'll randomly go over there and for something, just like maybe to like pick up something or drop something off, and then he'll like offer me, a drink or just to like hang out for a little bit, and then sometimes we'll watch these like videos, and it's all like your mind stuff and the ego and all that stuff,
Those are
and it's like,
so good.
and then all of a sudden I'm there till like 11, and
Any alien stuff?
oh yeah, the alien stuff. Yes,
Oh my
he's on
God.
to the alien stuff. Yeah, he's like they're already here. Yeah, they'll make their presence known when they're ready, but they're just watching. Yeah,
Wait, so have you connected with aliens or has he connected with aliens or I'm
yeah.
like
Maybe he
curious
has, but he talks about it so
so much.
eloquently and very
Oh,
confidently that you're just like, holy fuck, man! I'm a
I believe it
believer.
now.
I
There's just
believe this shit. No, I do think it's so fascinating. And just like, sometimes when we like listen to, God, I can't remember who it is now that we were listening to, but he's like all that like negative emotions that you feel is just like your ego. It's just like he's like it's not you're not supposed to like feel, yeah, obviously you feel the way you feel, but your mind is the one that's just driving this. Like
running
it's
the show
yeah.
instead of like your heart
Yes,
that led
exactly.
to you to this to through the forest that actually had a road
Hmm.
that led you to your place of self-reflection.
Yeah, like I probably easily could have been walking along the side of the train tracks, stuck in that fucking town. No,
A fucking nightmare of a town.
yeah, what a terrible place. Well, but I went through the woods. But yeah, no, it's always so interesting.
I'm curious. I'm gonna ask a question. This just like popped in my brain, and I wanted to ask: would that town, that first town, felt as wonderful, calm, and sweet as it did if you didn't experience the shitty town that felt awful?
Probably not because you wouldn't really have anything to compare it to. Because if you're in a state of just calm relaxation all the time, then nothing's really fucking with you.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was definitely, and I mean that's just like life.
yeah.
Experience something terrible, like you're having a shitty day, and then the next day you'll feel fine.
Those terrible moments make
Yeah,
the sweet moments feel that much sweeter.
exactly. Yeah. I
Wow,
have,
I love all.
was in my Windows screen wallpaper,
You're
went
in
through
your Windows
Greece.
wallpaper
Yeah, I
dream.
went through Mykonos, you know, and then I went through Portugal, even though I love Portugal IRL. Place sucked. I went through Twilight. And I made it to, the fucking, what is it? What do they call like Portland and Seattle area? The
Pacific Northwest?
Pacific Northwest. This mountainous road. Yeah. No idea what the towns were that I overlooked, but there was something there.
It sounded like there was many towns.
There's a lot of towns, a
You
lot
have
of
a lot of
emotions.
emotions.
It's like Inside Out.
Yeah. Oh, that movie's coming out
I
too. I can't
know.
wait to watch it. This movie's so good, the first one. If you guys haven't watched Inside Out, you need to watch that. It's like
Hmm.
it's so true to how people are,
Hmm.
like feelings wise. So it's I don't know. Disney be making some good stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. All right, Mary Joy, the thing you want to share with us before we leave, or I don't know if you have anything going on you want to share, or
Not
what
really.
have you.
No, nothing crazy is happening. I wish I had a podcast to plug,
I mean,
but I don't.
you
So
could if
I
you
won't plug
if
my X or my Twitter. Will not do that because all it is just Kate Middleton and wrestling. So we're not gonna, we will not. If you really wanted to find me, you'll be able to find me like the sleuths found out about the Photoshop. We won't do it.
you're like I'm not putting myself out there like
You
that.
can figure it out yourselves.
If you can find it, you will win the prize.
You'll find one trip inside my mind.
And it's all Kate Middleton.
All Kate Middleton, indecision, and wrestling. Good luck and
Yes,
enjoy.
wrestling. I love that you still love wrestling.
Oh, I love it.
Like not even regular, it's like WWF wrestling.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Still there.
All right, thanks you guys. Thanks for joining us today. It was a lot of fun sharing this with you.
Yay. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for being on here. I had a lot of fun reflecting with you.
Me too.